Hello, everyone.
Hi.
By everyone, I mean the no one that is currently in the room here with us.
Nobody's
But
here yet.
folks are filtering in. Yeah, I hope you're here to join us for our Dominaria live stream. We'll be going over programs and materials. We got all of them here. Hopefully, most of you guys do as well. Those kits have been showing up. But yeah, it's going to be a good one.
Yeah, I'm certainly excited. It's
yeah.
an exciting season with a lot of changes, a lot of adventurous opportunities for sure. And I'm excited to have invited a number of our newer stores to attend this session as well and talk strategy.
Cool. And I mean, Dominaria, there's a lot of hype for it. I mean, Kyle, I think you're just like me, playing since way back in the day. So a lot of nostalgia and a lot of things to return to.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, absolutely.
And yeah, probably just give folks another few moments to cycle in here. So yeah, what we're going to specifically be doing is going over best practices for the programs of Dominaria, which are actually kicking off here real soon. We've actually got the Rivals of Ixalan Store Championship.
Yep, that's coming up
next week. Yeah, and we'll be going over the materials as well. All right, but hey, might as well dive in. All right. So first thing I want to mention is kits should be arriving by now. In fact, if they're not, go ahead and give retail support a call.
Yes, we have, with the lead time that you have available, we might be able to help get kits to you last second if for whatever reason something has gone amiss with shipments.
Yeah,
which
exactly.
Hopefully it hasn't.
Yeah, and especially if you do have your store championship for Rivals of Ixalan kicking off early next week, because actually I think Monday is the first day for that. Definitely make it a priority to give us a call. All right. But yeah, so along with Dominaria, we've got a big brand logo refresh going. So a lot of those materials you'll see actually had the brand new logo. There it is right there.
That's right.
Of course, is our beautiful cash wrap. That one is for your cash register area, so right at the point of sale. Ideally, you can kind of just drape that right over the counter there.
Yep. And of course, I think we had a live stream with you on Monday where you got to talk about the new Teferi display as well.
Yeah, that's right.
Hanging out behind us.
Yeah, so we've got that demo one. And so, of course, for this one, the idea is this goes in your storefront window. This is to attract anyone that's passing by the store, kind of to, grab their attention and hopefully ask you about the new set there.
Excellent. Oh, we got some people coming in.
Excellent. All right.
Welcome.
Welcome, everyone. And oh yeah, and that other big logo refresh. Should we do it? Should we
do it now?
Should we do it?
Sure.
Let's do it. All right. So this, of course, is the big change here. We're going from the old logo to the new logo. So the shelf talker there, which, by the way, the intention is to use with your newest Magic product. So hopefully you've got that right near the boosters for Dominaria, which that actually releases there. Very ceremonious moment here.
Oh yeah, this is big.
And finally, we do also have the event poster for the season. You're familiar with that from the past few sets here. The idea is it does have those fillable date fields there, so you can actually put those right in. Another good one to make sure you've got near the front of the store, probably the point of sale area. You want to make sure any potential customers that aren't necessarily in-store players yet see that they do have ample opportunities to become that.
Yep. Keep that by the front of your store. Keep that by your point of sales area.
Yep.
Make it visible, make it known, and advertise just as effectively in your store as you are on your Facebook page or on your website as to when those events are coming up.
Yeah, and of course, most of those dates should be signed up already. You haven't signed up for the Dominaria Store Championship because, of course, we'll be signing up for that with the next round of scheduling. But we do have the dates up on the website, so you can fill that in if you already know which day you're going to be doing for it.
I also want to mention, if anybody has any questions that they're looking to have answered, feel free to go ahead and ask your questions in the chat. We'll try to answer a lot of the questions towards the end of the session.
Yeah, and even afterwards, say you're coming in and watching it later, put in the comments. We'll be happy to address them there as well.
Yes, please.
All right. And kind of one more note on the advertising materials here. So the cool thing about Teferi is that although he's been designed to go in the storefront window, if you can't manage that, if you do have a smaller window space or you need to break it up, those components can be broken apart and used in different parts of the store.
It's modular, so make it a little bit easier for you.
All right. Excellent. And so that's pretty much it for the big advertising materials. So for the rest of the session here, we're going to be going over each of the programs, kind of the intent, the purpose behind it, best way to implement those materials. So yeah, let's dive right in with the open house.
Yeah, we'll start off with that. So the next program that's coming up chronologically is the Store Championship. That's next week. We're going to get to that a little bit later in the session. But for open house, this is your opportunity to welcome new players into your store. We have a couple of kit materials that we've already sent out to you. Let me go ahead and get some examples.
Oh yes, the welcome decks themselves.
There we go. The welcome decks. You will have a kit of 20 of those, so that should suffice for a lot of it. But if you feel like you need more, as always, contact retail support, and we'll see about getting you some more as well to support your endeavors.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, this is the scheduled time to kind of set up those intro sessions with players, but we always want to keep you in stock on those for any walk-ins or people interested in the game.
Yep. We also have promo cards available. So we shipped you some Llanowar Elves promos.
Good old Llanowar Elves.
These are really nice looking promos, really simple, very clean, clean mechanically, so it's easier to understand for the newer players, and also it's a bit popular with some of our more enfranchised players as well. Yeah. So those go to anybody who is new, who brings somebody who's new, or who helps around, maybe teaches somebody who's new as well, and just good opportunities to incentivize the new player experience in the store.
Absolutely, because I mean, a big part of open house is you're introducing them to Magic itself, but also you're kind of showing off the social benefits, right? So you want to have folks in the store, and hopefully those Llanowar Elves can help bring in some of your more enfranchised players, so they can kind of get a feel for, all right, this is fun, this is a celebration, this is a gathering, if you will.
Excellent. One other point on open house, as far as looking for strategy tips of things of looking at it. One thing we haven't gotten to yet is thinking of all of these programs as a season, long season, a couple month long season for players to come back week over week to go on a journey, so to speak, with the different events that they can participate in. And if a new player comes to the open house, they should have the next steps of what other events to come back to. So, of course, the re-release is the one that follows. We'll be getting that in the second. But working them into your league, into your Friday Night Magic, and such, and using open house as a first look into what they could be involved in is a wise move.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, just to take it the full way, get sign-up sheets ready for those upcoming programs as well. Certainly invite them back for pre-release, but League, of course, is designed to be a good place for those new players as well. So, get them going on that. If you can get their names down, all the better.
Yep. If for some reason you haven't received the kits for any of these programs, again, contact retail support, and we'll look into getting you taken care of.
That's right. And I think we did have the new 2-player Learn to Play mat on there as well. It's got the new logo.
That's right. Yeah.
But yeah, so that's a great thing to have out. Obviously, it kind of lays out the battlefield for a new Magic player. It makes it a bit easier to remember all that for someone who's new. All right. And so that brings us to kind of the big one, and especially for Dominaria, there's some big exciting things happening for the pre-release.
There's a lot of stuff going on for pre-release, so we're going to want to get some good details in for this one. The pre-release is, let's see here, that is the 22nd, I want to say, the 21st, the 22nd?
Yeah, that weekend. Yeah,
that's right. Okay, yeah, 21st and 22nd. So let's see here. Looks like we have some questions.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. All right, so Aaron says, flipped over to Core. Does that poster, scrolling. Does that poster get shipped from y'all, or do I need to print it from the sources? Yes, so all of these materials are sent out to you from us. We do have additional marketing materials available on the WPN website. Yeah, actually,
I got some examples. So the big event poster, that's coming in the pre-release kit. So the one that we showed a little bit earlier. This is just an example of something that you can print out on just 8.5 by 11, basic sheet of paper. Simple background, of course, branded with Dominaria, but you can write in event details on this, either Sharpie or type it in.
Yeah, exactly. Whatever information you need to get on there, really just kind of a good background template for your own advertising.
Yeah, we also have sign-up sheets and such. If you want something that's a little bit clean looking, again, featuring the new logo. So take advantage of that if you can.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, especially if you guys are printing off like an old version of the download. Great time to refresh since we got the new one here.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
A few more questions. Great.
And then finally on this subject, we also have, as we're about to get to on Buy a Box for Dominaria's pre-release, we have some advertising materials to help you promote that as well.
All right, and yeah, Christopher, got to agree. I'm a long-time Llanowar Elves fan myself, so it's great to see it with the full treatment there.
Oh yeah, going back to the Llanowar Elves.
All right.
Answer some other questions.
For sure, and let's see here. Eric looks like he has more of a feedback. We'll definitely take that into consideration, but for now it is just the single open house session. Keep in mind, though, I mean, that can extend a whole afternoon. That can really be a kind of an all-day thing. Absolutely. And you really want to encourage players to come in when they have the time. There's no set tournament for this, so it's really just kind of a walk-in, walk-out situation.
Yeah. It's generally going to be better for open house if you have the mass amount of people all in at once, so that the newer players can come in and they can make friends. Yeah. I've heard stories of some stores hosting 100+ person open houses, and maybe they only had about 9, 10, 11 new players, but those new players get integrated into the community, and then of course they're more likely to come back to your future events.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, each one of those new players, of course, can be huge if they become a longtime customer of the store. Yep. And hey, Tim O'Donnell, thanks for kind of doing our job for us here. Indeed, yeah, if you did, like in the case of Aaron there, always give retail support a call if you're concerned about a shipment for one of your event materials. Even if you did just make it to core, we do what we can to try to help folks out even after the season started. So definitely get in contact with us on that. All right. All right, but yeah, so diving back into the pre-release here. So we'll go through kind of the good, normal, best practices. Now, a real good thing to keep in mind for pre-release is, although Open House is designed as the new player event, we know that a lot of new players are having their very first Magic event at a pre-release. Yep. Yeah, and you definitely want to keep that in mind as well. Long and short of it, first impressions matter.
Absolutely. So think about what you might be able to do to perhaps decorate, to theme your event as well, to create an environment that really wows the players when they come in to participate in your event. Be professional, take pre-registration. I showed you some registration sheets that we had earlier so that you can start your event on time. Again, this is where a lot of the maybe players that don't come out to play as often come out of the weeds to participate in these events, and giving them a good time will maybe make them more likely to come back and again participate in the rest of the season.
Right. Show them how cool and how fun it is. Hey, maybe you can convert those kind of quarterly customers into weekly customers.
Exactly.
And so yeah, and Kyle mentioned a little bit, this is a great opportunity to decorate the stores. We actually saw for the last block of Ixalan Arrivals, we saw some great decorations kind of with the jungle setting.
I actually decorated this room with our little dinosaur mascot.
Oh, yeah. There he is.
We're going to be rotating him out, of course, with Dominaria, but I tried to get into the swing of things early for that.
That's right. All right, and we'll be sure to touch on this a little more, because this is a very important big change with Dominaria. Most of you probably are familiar, but it's worth going over the very special offer we have of the Dominaria pre-release Buy a Box.
That's right. So let's go ahead and bring out the Buy a Box cards.
Oh yeah.
Talk about that. So the Buy a Box this time around is, let's see if I can get that somewhat focused. Fire Song and Sunspeaker. So this is an exclusive card. You can't find this card in booster packs.
That's right.
And for Dominaria, we are allowing stores to sell booster boxes that pair with a Fire Song and Sunspeaker Buy a Box promo to players that pre-purchase those boxes and pick it up.
So not only are WPN locations the only place where you're going to be able to actually purchase Dominaria at that time, but they'll also be the only place that you can get this special mechanically exclusive Buy a Box promo.
Yes. So this is an exciting event, and it's given how quickly we're approaching the pre-release, this is a good time to start advertising, promoting, and getting your players to start thinking about making their pre-purchases so that at the pre-release they can buy, pick up, and participate in your event as well.
And definitely worth going over some of the fine points on that. So this is for folks who actually purchase an entire booster box. There's not going to be any individual pack sales, even if folks pre-order or what have you, on pre-release. and it is limited to that additional allocation that you will be actually placed with your pre-release distributor, unless you let us know by today. I think it's the deadline to do that, right?
Oh, that's right. Yes, today.
Yeah. So most of you probably just go through that anyway, but keep that in mind. Those all need to come out of that allotment. You don't want to, for example, go into your prize boosters for this one.
Yep. If you need a walkthrough or need any more understanding of exactly how a pre-release works, we might not be able to cover everything here today. Certainly, again, contact retail support, set yourself up with an appointment to talk with one of the retail development reps. That's my team, and we'll be able to give you the instructions and support that you need.
Definitely. Yeah, and for folks that this is brand new, because I know we have a number of those in the stream here today, you do have that allotment of Planeswalker decks available for you at pre-release.
Oh, yeah.
So this is kind of cool. If you don't have someone that wants to participate in the limited pre-release event, you can have a casual side event. You can just call it open dueling and provide those pre-release decks, one per customer on those.
Planeswalker decks.
Planeswalker deck.
Yeah, so set up a side event adjacent to your pre-release event as it's taking place, or have it happen maybe after your pre-release takes place, or perhaps on Sunday when all of your pre-release events are over. This gives your players additional opportunities to engage with the new content of the set, and you can offer prize support as long as it's coming from older sets. For that, there's some terms there.
Yeah, that is a good point to make. Excellent. So yeah, for the Planeswalker decks, it's essentially as structured as you want to be. A lot of stores do keep it very casual, kind of player list. Hey, but if you want to, you can do a little casual tournament with it as well.
Yep. And one other point on pre-release, just be cognizant of the release dates, street dates as well. The buy a box promotion can only be used. Boxes can only be sold for this particular set during the pre-release weekend window, Saturday to Sunday. Once Sunday passes, you'll have to wait until Friday release to resume sales of any Dominaria program material.
Yeah, very true. For North America specifically, that Monday through Thursday is still what you consider a blackout dates for delivering product for Dominaria. And also worth mentioning, we do have the pre-release parties back for this one as well.
That's right.
This was something that you would have scheduled in the window for Dominaria, and essentially what it is it's a casual version of the pre-release that you can run in tandem to your normal events, which gives you a little bit more flexibility. Maybe you got players that aren't into the super structured tournament, or if you have extra packs, say at the end of the weekend, this is a way to fire off an event and move those without actually reaching 8 players.
Yep. It's worth mentioning this is more of a casual option. We would like stores to do the best that they can to organize large official, more or less pre-release events. Your allocation is based on your attendance at I would say
the traditional
pre-release events.
Yeah, for sure. So anyone that's in those pre-release parties, keep in mind those players will not contribute to your future allocation.
We have a question from Nathan. When do we have to cut off the pre-sales you just mentioned?
That's a great question. So the idea behind this promotion is that these are boxes that are pre-ordered for players. So you definitely want to emphasize that. You want to encourage them to put those pre-orders in early because, hey, it's going to be very limited.
Yeah.
By the way, it is limited to the number of buy-a-box promos that you have.
Yeah. So you'll only be able to buy a number of booster boxes equal to the number of promos that we're able to send you.
Exactly.
That depends based on your level. But there's no limit to the number of boxes a single player can purchase. But yeah, I mean, if a player wants to just come in on pre-release weekend and buy a box, that's fine. They can do that.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, it still is going to be ahead of the release. So if you have additional ones available, feel free to sell them in whole box quantities there. Also worth mentioning, so they can do as many boxes as they want. And as a special part of Dominaria, you can actually award more than one of the buy a box promo, which is actually a little out of the norm for how to do that. Worth knowing. All right, and so that's pretty much it for pre-release. There's a lot of information that goes into that program. So again, feel free to follow up or give retail support a call if you want anything more in-depth than that.
So we'll move on to draft weekend.
Draft weekend, that's right.
So this takes place the weekend after the pre-release, and this is designed to be, this is the opportunity for players to really get into draft for the set. The set is on shelves. Players can draft it as much as they like, and this is a good opportunity for stores to start thinking about, okay, well, how can I get players to draft as often as they're able to.
Exactly. Yeah, and so this is just that Saturday and Sunday. You know, the general thinking behind that is you're going to have players showing up probably on that Friday of release. You've got your F&M, etc. So this is a program that ideally will bring them back in for hopefully a second visit that weekend.
That's right. For this, we have this promo, Zahid, Jinn of the Lamp.
Very cool.
So this is featuring, as was the Buy a Box promo, the new legendary frame, which you can see at the top.
I love that kind of crown at the top. Good design there. Anyone that's a fan of the classic Mahamodi Jim, I think will like Zahid just fine.
That's right.
Yeah, so pretty cool there.
And that's just given out to any players that participate in your drafts. That's a participation promo. So
correct. And you probably noticed when you scheduled, so you do get a few kind of foundational draft events just so something shows up on the store locator, but you can absolutely fire off more draft events as they come in throughout the weekend. As long as you still have promos to provide, you can feel free to award those, even if it's just one that you've scheduled on the spot there.
Yeah, my tips on that
is pretty hot.
Oh, yeah. My tips for that are to consider learn to draft events as well. Always thinking back to, okay, the open house players that came in to learn how to play the game, where are they right now? What sort of options can we provide them? So learn to draft, back-to-back draft packages, things of that nature.
Absolutely. Yeah, and one thing that actually not a lot of people realize for this is that drafts, these can be casual as well. So it doesn't have to be a ranked 8-person draft. You can still award the promo, even if it's just a casual one. Say you got like 6 players in there, that's just fine. I want you to be able to move through those. All right.
I think we're on the Friday Night Magic.
On to F&M. That's right. The classic Magic program.
That's right. And guess what's coming back for Dominaria?
Oh, baby. Not only are they playable promos, I must say they are pretty gosh darn good playable promos.
Yeah, no kidding.
You can actually check out all these promos, by the way. We have an article up on it that'll show you the details on it, so you can take a look. Yeah, we got a lot of feedback regarding kind of last season's promo, so we did make a switch on that. Thanks for providing it. Honestly, it always helps us here on the back end.
Yep.
And yeah, kind of the big cool change with these is the frame.
Yeah.
So we have a new alternate frame.
New exclusive frame for the Friday Night Magic promos. Yeah, gives us an opportunity to showcase and highlight sweet new cards in the set, and allow us to give some cards that maybe your players can get really excited about as well for those events.
For sure.
Yep.
One of the big development advantages that the frames have, as opposed to say doing alternate art, is you can actually pick those promos later on the timeline from when they come out. So this way we can get a better idea of, hey, what's really going to excite players when we're actually getting closer to the date there. Excellent. Yeah, we're pretty excited on our end as well.
Oh yeah, great. So stores are going to be receiving all of their Friday Night Magic promos all at once. It's about a 2 or 3 month season for Friday Night Magic. So just make sure that you are budgeting the number of promos that are going out to your events. But for core level stores, for example, you'll be able to hand out 4 promos per Friday. You can give it out for any reason that you would like. My go-to recommendations are typically your winner is going to expect something. That's okay. You can give them that. But also think about other ways that you can reward or incentivize good behaviors from your players. Things like creativity. Who made the coolest deck? Who was a good mentor to newer players? Who brought a friend? Or even who was just a good sport?
Yeah, actually, there's a lot of different ways you can do this. One actually that I heard kind of recently that was pretty cool is you have essentially for each match, and after the whole tournament, you decide who was the favorite player that you played against as far as sportsmanship, and then you can award that player one of the promos. So a lot of different ways you can do it.
Yeah. So get creative with it. We'll be talking about standard showdown later on and thinking about, okay, well, how can you differentiate these sort of prize structures to keep the different events with their own personalities, as I like to put it.
Right. Yeah, and for Friday Night Magic, it is one of our flexible programs. You can actually schedule it as ranked as casual. You got a lot of different format options. So it's definitely a time where you can kind of cater to your community and offer just kind of a more fun experience, as opposed to say something like Standard Showdown, where you do kind of want to crank up the competition a little bit there.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think we're on to League now.
That's right. Yeah. Speaking of casual, consistent programs that we have. And look at that, we got the collection box back for this one. Pretty sweet.
Yeah, this is, we had this for Ixalan. Unfortunately, did not have it for Rivals of Ixalan, but this is back. And it's a nice, sturdy cardboard box as well, enough to hold, a sleeved deck inside as well. It features all kinds of neat art features as well.
Yeah, and most of you probably already put them together there. We actually have been hearing some feedback. People seem to really like these deck boxes, which is great. But I would call out specifically, I think when you're putting them together, just make sure it's when you're doing kind of the final push in on the sides there, make sure it's really firm.
This part right here, you want to make sure that that's stuck in pretty firm, so that the lid closes completely. Right? That's the only trick. So if you find that your boxes aren't coming together completely well, it's that side that you want to look into.
One thing worth emphasizing with League is that it's really easy to run, kind of by design. That's what we were thinking of this. We didn't want to pile on another big kind of tournament program where you had to get extra staffing involved and kind of set a whole bunch of time aside. This is a program where really all you need to do is possibly store their League boxes for them, because that can be common practice, and maybe record wins and losses.
Yeah, I actually have our a display of League boxes behind here, and it makes it pretty neat. It might be a little hard to see from here, but you can see them kind of lined up.
Yeah.
It makes for a little neat display.
Yeah. Yeah, and totally up to you. You just want to do what's best for your community as far as how you handle holding onto those deck boxes. And we do have the promo back for this one as well. Actually, kind of a new cool land here, the Zolfarine Void. So usually our thinking with the League promos, we want it to be very flexible as far as what decks it can go in. So certainly this land that just creates colorless mana and also scries is going to be useful in a lot of decks.
Yep.
Important to know, though, this is not simply for signing up or participating in the League.
Yep.
This is specifically for folks who complete 10 matches throughout the League.
10 matches, yeah. So League, you want to incentivize play.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I say generally, period. Many times I'll tell stores, it's best to say provide players with maybe the promo or booster packs for X number of games that they complete rather than games that they win. For example, that way they're incentivized to keep playing. They can kind of upgrade their decks over time, and just have a good time. It's casual, it's relaxed.
For sure, yeah, definitely fun over cutthroat play for this one.
Absolutely, for League, you want it to slot in between the rest of your events.
That's right. Now, for your more competitive players that really want the opportunity to kind of show what they got, have their mettle tested, and become a true champion of the store, we've got the Standard Showdown program. So this is the weekly standard event that is ranked, and of course we have the special prize packs for this one, the Standard Showdown packs.
Yep. You won't have those in your kits just yet. They'll be arriving probably later in April, since the program doesn't start until I think it's either late April or early May.
Yeah, it'll be early May, because we've got the kind of that week of in between where it's just right. League and it kicks off.
Yeah, so if you haven't gotten those packs yet, they're coming. And if you don't have them by May, again, contact us, please.
Exactly. They'll contain Dominaria cards, so we want to get those out closer to the actual release date once we have all the preview season taken care of.
So again, you'll be budgeted a number of Standard Showdown booster packs based on your level. So you want to make sure that you budget them specifically over the course of the season. And as I was mentioning earlier, you can hand out those promos for any reason, similar to Friday Night Magic, but typically for Standard Showdown, you want to err more on the side of competitive type behaviors.
Yeah, exactly. I would certainly have at least one of these set aside for your folks that win or go, X and O, all wins throughout the whole event there.
Exactly.
Yeah, and it is going to be the same composition as the previous packs there. So you'll have that one foil of any rarity, two that will either be rare or mythic, and we've got those sweet Rebecca Glaylands back as well. All right, and that leads into kind of the big one. Now, so for the Dominaria Store Championship, of course, you haven't signed up for that one yet. You'll actually sign up for that for the the Core 2019 program sign-up window.
Because it happens so late in the season. That's why you haven't signed up for that. But you have signed up for the Rivals of Ixalan Store Championship.
Correct. Yes, and kind of along with that, it does point to the new...
Pull this one down.
There you go. It does point to the new season. So the Rivals of Ixalan materials, of course, have imagery from Dominaria here.
That's right.
Our hero, Teferi.
There he is. So the winner of your championship will receive this champion playmat. This takes place before Dominaria has an opportunity to get your players talking and excited and thinking about the upcoming Dominaria set and sort of crown a champion, right? To crown a champion for your Rivals of Ixalan season. And so the similar thought process will apply to the Dominaria season itself. You go through a number of Friday Night Magics and standard showdowns, and that all builds up. And then you can have the end of your season be the championship, where you crown the champion and you begin the next season anew.
That's right. That's right. You can think of it as kind of a culmination of the season, and all of those kind of competitive events are leading into it. And hey, celebrate your champion too. You know, we've seen a lot of stores do cool things as far as social media call outs. I know there's a lot of kind of Wall of Fame, Hall of Fame type situations as well.
Oh yeah.
You know, make it stand out. Make them seem like, hey, this is the person to beat for the next season. This is our store's champion, indeed.
Yeah. And so for the other promos that you receive for the store championship are top 8 deck boxes featuring top 8 moniker sort of thing. Reward for the players that do particularly well in that event. And then also the participation promo, Steel League Champion.
Definitely a good one.
Just a beefy green guy.
Yeah, pretty big. Looks like we do actually have a question. Can we show the prizes like the playmat and promos to players to drive up interest? Absolutely. Yeah, and in fact, I would totally encourage you to showcase those. Make sure players know that this is an exciting kind of reward that they're going for there.
Yep.
And it's actually a general rule of thumb. If you've received something in an event kit from us, feel free to start promoting it.
Yes.
That's kind of your indication that we are in full-blown hype mode, and we want you to get the word out on those.
Yeah, utilize the marketing materials as a reminder. Utilize the marketing materials on the WPN website as well to point out a number of these opportunities.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see here. Did we have any other questions?
We regularly do standard Shenanigans Plus. When will the lands change to a different artist? Sure.
So we don't have anything announced on that. It's, you know, there will be a refresh sometime in the future, but as of right now for the Dominaria season, it's going to be the Rebecca Glaze. Right. Okay, my players are not. Oh, it looks like we got a little feedback from James here. Fair enough, and we're definitely taking that into consideration. You know, a big part of this is we know that the excitement has, in a lot of sense in the players' eyes, when we have a new set coming out, the excitement has already shifted towards that.
That's right.
And so, of course, we want this to be kind of a culmination for the Rivals of Ixalan season, but we know what's really going to excite them is something that they're getting geared up for.
Yeah, definitely use this as a marketing opportunity, right? Start shifting the focus from your players, especially since you have open house the following weekend, right? Talking about trying to get sort of critical mass of players coming in for that event, which then you can translate into participation at your pre-release, and so on and so forth. You see how these events end up tying together.
Exactly. Yeah, kind of a seamless transition from one season to the next. Right. Well, I think that is pretty much it for the bulk of our content there. Do just want to emphasize one more time, this is a big push that we have with this new Dominaria promotion here, and it's really up to you guys to get the word out about it.
Yes.
We've got promotion going on our end, but we've pumped up, as Kyle showed there, we've got several marketing material assets you can use to promote in your store. We've actually been seeing some really cool promotions online from stores that really hit the ground running with this one.
Oh, yeah.
Make sure your players know this is new, this is fun, it's an opportunity to get their hands on a full booster box a week ahead of the release.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So start thinking about, you know, what can you do to create a really interesting event experience for the pre-release, right? How might you theme your store? How might you deliver these programs into one another?
Yeah. And, you know, honestly, I think it speaks to kind of a more general philosophy that we have around here and around all of these marketing pushes is we want to give you the tools to have a foundation for promoting your store, but really it's up to you to kind of take that and whip it up into something that's special for your community and also points directly to your store, right? I mean, you want to do what you can to stand out against the competition, and these type of events are great opportunities to do that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So if anybody has any additional questions, I think we'd be happy to answer those.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, if you got any questions after the fact, you guys know I'm Nelson. You can hit me up in the comments there. This is Kyle O'Neill here. Honestly, you've probably talked to him on the phone.
Yes, many. I'm sure some of you have.
Yeah, some of you maybe were even invited to this very live stream.
Oh yeah,
that's right.
Absolutely.
In the flesh. Cool. But hey guys, I hope the Dominaria season goes real well, and yeah, thanks for joining us.